Hey, brother, welcome to this day as we follow Jesus. You know, as we're following Jesus, we're not only listening to him, but he is listening to us. And that's displayed in chapter 9 of the Gospel of Mark, starting in verse 33. And they came to Capernaum, and when he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you discussing on the way?" But they kept silent, for on the way they had been arguing with one another about who was the greatest. And he sat down and called the 12, and he said to them, "If anyone would be first, he must be last of all and servant of all." And he took a child and put him in the midst of them, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever receives one such child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but him who sent me." Jesus is listening to what we say. He's listening to what's coming out of our hearts. And one of the things that he's hearing is that even in the greatest mission, even following the greatest leader ever, even being called to deliver the greatest message ever to be delivered, ego can get in there. Ego can begin to confuse us and to put us off the message and the master that we're following. And here Jesus is saying, I want to redefine your perception of what makes you great. And I want to take it from what you perceive to be a position, a role, a status. And I want to tell you this, the one who is the greatest is the one who serves. And he takes a child because the child has the lowest status in society. The child is even below the servant. And he says, if you receive a child, you're receiving me. And when you're receiving me, you're receiving the Father. You are welcoming into your life the power of the Messiah and the power of the Father who sent him. This is also a message to us that we need to receive anyone that Jesus is receiving. So as a servant, we receive people who are of a different political perspective than us. We receive people who have needs, people who should know better. We receive people who are broken and hurting. We receive people who are of a different class or of a different race, because the family of God is all about serving the master, not serving my own ego. You know, in some ways, Mike Rowe has put his finger on this. You know, Mike Rowe is the one who did the TV show Dirty Jobs. And he said this to a commencement audience, a graduation audience not long ago. And he said the startling thing, he says, don't follow your passion. Because if you follow your passion, you're controlled by your ego and a very narrow, myopic view of who you are. He says the hallways of America's Got Talent are filled with people who are trying to follow their passion. And the problem is they're not going to accomplish much, and they really don't have the talent to follow their passion. And he says this, he said, don't follow your passion, follow your purpose. And as you follow your purpose, you'll discover that your passion is rewarded. Well, in some ways that echoes what Jesus is saying. He's saying if you follow your passion, it's always going to lead you to some ego-defined role or status or position. But if you follow me as a servant, you will be doing great things for the kingdom of God, which the Father will note and I will note, because you're receiving me into your life and you're receiving the Father's own will into your life. So today, let's think about ways we can lower our hunger for status, lower our hunger for a position, lower our hunger to be paid attention to, and how we can serve someone else, because in doing so, we receive Jesus himself. God bless you.